US President Donald Trump's visit to Beijing ended with a tour of Zhongnanhai, the exclusive, heavily guarded 14th century compound where top Chinese leaders live and work. Xi leading him on the tour was yet another moment for the cameras in a two-day trip heavy on pageantry but scant on details about policy agreed by both sides. For weeks leading up to United States President Donald Trump's visit to Beijing, his administration has been pressing China to lean on Iran amid negotiations aimed at reaching a peace deal between Washington and Tehran. Yet as Trump departed from Beijing on Friday afternoon on board Air Force One, after a little more than 40 hours in the Chinese capital and a series of meetings with President Xi Jinping, there was little evidence that the world's two most powerful nations had forged any agreement on how to end the war on Iran. Early signs point to the United States and China moving towards a relationships of common interest following US President Donald Trump's trip to China, according to analysts, setting aside the turmoil that marked 2025. Trump was in Beijing for 3 days this week to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping, accompanied by a delegation of American CEOs, including the heads of Apple, Nvidia, BlackRock, and Goldman Sachs. Ramoun occupied West Bank. Fresh off the 7th forced displacement of his central West Bank Bedouin community since 1948, Abu was not in a contemplative mood leading up to Nakba Day. He said he was in a rush, too busy reacting to the crises of the day, the continuing third Nakba, as he called it. "This is not a proper place to live, that's why I'm in a hurry. Waiting for a car to take me," said Abu Najjar, the Mukhtar or leader of the former Bedouin community of Ain Samia, speaking from a recently erected tent in the outskirts of Ramoun before rushing to find his sons amid unfolding violence in Jiljilia.
The Punjab Specialised Healthcare and Medical Education Department, SHCNMD, has imposed a ban on assigning nursing staff to general duty, directing all institutions to ensure that nurses are not deployed away from their original posts. According to an official letter, the practice of assigning to general duty was affecting the delivery of healthcare services. In response, the department has instructed that nursing staff on the posts for which they are paid only high-resolution satellite images comparing 2019 and 2026 have revealed large-scale deforestation across parts of Upper Diyar, raising fresh concerns over forest protection in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The images taken loss of natural tree cover across 13 hotspot locations near Jatkul village in the Sheringal area, where large forest patches have turned into bare area, where large forest patches bear land over the 7-year period.
The Pakistan Cricket Board, PCB, is expected to make major changes to national cricketers' central contracts ahead of the new contract cycle starting July 1. According to sources, the current financial model for central contracts will expire on June 30. The 3-year financial structure was introduced in 2023 during the tenure of former PCB chairman Zakir Ashraf and has remained unchanged under the current chairman, Mohsin Naqvi.
Senate has passed a government bill increasing compensation for passengers in cases involving death or injury during air travel due to airline fault. Under the amended law, compensation has been increased from 5 million to 20 million. Tariq Fazal Chaudhry presented the carriage by air. Amendment Bill 2026 in the Senate, where it was approved through a majority vote despite opposition demands to send the bill to a standing committee.
Punjab Chief Minister Mariam Nawaz has directed authorities to install safety nets beneath manhole covers across the province to prevent accidents and improve public safety. The polyester strip safety nets will be fixed inside manholes, gutters and drainage systems. A pilot project has already been launched in Gujranwala, where nets will be installed on 30,000 manholes.
PPP MNA and spokesperson Shazia Mari said on Friday that one instance of interaction between two people who had worked closely for several years cannot be viewed in isolation, after a video clip of PPP chairperson Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Kurtness with her went viral on social. The incident took place at a press conference after the PPP's parliamentary party meeting at the Parliament House in Islamabad on Thursday. Security forces killed 9 terrorists as they repulsed an attack on an army camp in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Bajar district, official sources said on Friday. 4 security personnel were also martyred during the engagement, they added.
Canadian rapper Drake just let loose a savage diss on his Palestinian-American contemporary DJ Khaled over the latter's apparent apathy over the plight of his own people. Drake dropped 3 new albums, Iceman, Habibti and Maid of Honor, on Friday, with a particularly potent line in one of the songs.
US President Donald Trump spent his final morning in Beijing in Zhongnanhai, the highly secretive, tightly guarded leadership compound of China's ruling Communist Party. Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping strolled through its pristine gardens, with Trump admiring the roses and Xi offering to send seeds before they held talks over tea and lunch. 5 Italian nationals have died following a scuba diving accident in the Maldives, Italy's foreign ministry said on Thursday. The incident occurred in the Vavu Atoll, where the group had been attempting to explore a series of underwater caves at a depth of around 50 meters, 165 feet, the foreign ministry statement said. The United States is planning to indict former Cuban President Raul Castro as Washington raises the pressure on the island's communist government. Several U.S. media outlets reported on Thursday that the potential charges against the 94-year-old brother of Fidel Castro relate to a 1996 incident in which Cuba shot down planes flown by the anti-Castro humanitarian group Brothers to the rescue.
Tech layoffs are rising again in May, with the number of announced job cuts already close to April's total, despite the month being only half over. According to TrueUp data, more than 135,700 tech workers have been laid off so far this year. That pace is moving faster than last year, when more than 245,000 tech workers lost their jobs in 2025. Vlectra has introduced multiple 0% markup installment plans for its Velocity 180 electric motorcycle, as the company expands its presence in Pakistan's growing electric vehicle market. According to details shared by the company, the Velocity 180 can now be purchased through financing plans of 12, 18 and 24 months.
Indian billionaire industrialist Gautam Adani has agreed to pay a multi-million-dollar settlement in a US civil court case linked to corruption without admitting guilt. His company said on Friday the November 2024 indictment in New York accused the industrialist and multiple subordinates of deliberately misleading international investors as part of a vast bribery scheme. PPP MNA and spokesperson Shazia Mari said on Friday that one instance of interaction between 2 people who had worked closely for several years cannot be viewed in isolation, after a video clip of PPP chairperson Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Kurtness with her went viral on social. The incident took at a press conference after the PPP's parliamentary party meeting at the Parliament House in Islamabad on Thursday.
5 Italians have died in a scuba diving accident in the Maldives, the foreign ministry in Rome has said. The divers are believed to have died while attempting to explore caves at a depth of 50 metres, 64 ft, the ministry said, adding that this happened in Vavu Atoll.
Africa's top health agency has declared an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo's eastern Ituri province. Around 246 cases and 65 deaths have been reported, mainly in the areas of Mongwalu and Rwampara, said the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC Africa. 4 of the deaths were reported among lab-confirmed cases, it added.
The Supreme Court has ruled that the abortion pill mifepristone can continue to be accessed by mail. Two manufacturers that make the pill had asked the Supreme Court to intervene after a lower court placed significant restrictions on access to mifepristone as part of an ongoing lawsuit. Real Madrid striker Kylian Mbappe says coach Alvaro Arbeloa told him he was the fourth forward in the squad before benching him against Real Oviedo. The France captain returned from a thigh problem in a 2-0 win over Oviedo on Thursday, but his appearance as a 69th minute substitute was greeted by whistles from Madrid's own disgruntled supporters at the Santiago Bernabeu.
Scientists have identified the remains of a massive new species of dinosaur in Thailand, estimated to have weighed as much as 9 adult elephants. Nagatitan chayafumensis is the largest known dinosaur from Southeast Asia and a member of the dinosaur lineage called sauropods, known for having long necks and tails, small heads, and 4 columnar legs, according to a report published on Thursday in the Scientific Reports Journal. Derbyshire Falcons have announced the signing of Pakistan left arm pacer Akif Javed as a replacement for fellow Pakistani cricketer Sufyan Muqeem for the upcoming Vitality Blast 2026 season. Derbyshire had previously secured Sufyan Muqeem for the T20 competition. However, the left-arm spinner will be unavailable for the first half of the tournament due to international commitments.
The Sindh government has issued a code of conduct for the collection of sacrificial animal hides during Eid al-Adha. According to the Sindh Home Department, collecting hides without permission from commissioners and deputy commissioners will be strictly prohibited.
Transporters and Urban Resource Centre Joint Director Zahid Farouk have raised concerns over the design and traffic capacity of Karachi's Karimabad underpass, warning that the project could face congestion and operational issues despite its recent opening. Built at a cost stretches $3.46 billion, the underpass 1,080 metres and is being described as Karachi's longest tunnel-type underpass.
The Ministry of Interior has launched a unified police character certificate system across Pakistan to simplify the verification process for overseas travellers and job seekers. According to an official statement, records from all 4 provinces, as well as Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Kashmir, have been integrated into a single centralised platform.
Punjab's anti-corruption establishment has allegedly arrested Suthra Punjab operations manager Abdullah Bajwa after a case was registered over corruption allegations said to exceed $1 billion. According to sources, Bajwa and his associates have been booked following an inquiry into alleged financial irregularities in the sanitation project.
Madonna and Shakira will line up with K-pop supergroup BTS to headline the first ever World Cup final halftime show at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, FIFA said on Thursday. Coldplay singer Chris Martin will curate the extravaganza scheduled for July 19, the tournament's organizer added.